Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Art of Mala. Today I'll be teaching you on ballpoint pen shading techniques, but I will start the first one with hatching. If this is your first time being here, please consider subscribing. If you've been here before, you are welcome. Consider sharing the video as much as you find value inside of them. Let's get to it. So, what really is hatching? Forgive my fingers. You see all this dirt and all of that. I just finished doing a mural painting and I've not really been able to clean my hands properly yet. So forgive those. So what really is hatching? Hatching is just basically parallel set of lines moving in the same direction, and the closer they are, the darker they appear. The wider they are, the brighter they appear. Let's stop English. Let's just get to work, right? Okay, so hatching. When people say hatching, most people don't understand. They just feel it's in just one direction or something. So based on the definition I just gave right now, this is hatching. This is hatching. They are parallel lines. Parallel lines, for those that don't know what parallel lines are lines that will never touch themselves. They have equal distance in between them, go in the same direction, but they will never touch themselves. Yeah, so that's parallel lines. So these are vertical parallel lines at 90 degrees. These are horizontal parallel lines at 180 degrees. Then even this are parallel lines, and they're also hatching, and this is at 45 degrees. So let's not make this all mathematics right now. So this is the basic unit of hatching, and for some people actually still have this contour hatching. So let me just start by explaining the basic principles of shading, because we are doing shading, right? We're just starting with hatching. I mean, there's hatching, there's cross-hatching, there is pointillism, but people call it stippling, there's scribbling, there's scumbling, there's all kinds of stuff, right? But right now, I had wanted to do all of those in this video, but I just thought maybe I should just pick them one by one so that we'll have more value inside of them, so I can go a little bit deeper than I would do if I was going to consider all of them at the same time. So yeah, let's look at this. I'd said something in my definition of hatching. The closer the lines are, the darker they are, and then the wider apart they appear lighter, right? So let me just give you a very visual example of what I mean by that. Okay, so let me make this box here. Let me make this way. If I make this way, like this, these are hatching lines, quite alright, yes, but they are just, I don't know. Okay, you see this first box here is just white. So, but these ones are filled, but the spaces there's some negative space in between them. Now, the more you add more lines, the darker they appear. So let's do that, and let me show you. Okay, let me leave these two lines here and then add from here. I'm really very sorry if you can hear the noise in my ambience. This is still like a festive period around where I am, So a lot of people just keep coming back and all. So okay, so we have this, we have this, we have this. So let's keep adding from here. So just notice, the more I add more lines, the darker it seems to appear. So well, when I started this, I really didn't make it like, okay, being very conscious about it. So but here, let's stop here. Let's say we're picking this place, and we're picking this place. So this place here, if I add more lines, they will appear darker than the previous ones I had done. So if I was going to make this way, stopped here, I guess. So let's add more lines here. So if I'm going to pick this one, so I'm going to add more lines in between the ones. This is basically hatching. That's how hatching works. That is how hatching works. The reason why I keep, when I add the lines, I'm adding it to the end is because if this is plain, this is first layer, this is second layer, this is third layer, this is fourth layer, this is fifth layer, this is sixth layer. Now, I've not done the sixth layer, but the more I add, if I do first layer, second layer, I have to do the second layer all through. The third layer, I had to do it all through, like that. So this is, let's say, 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, this is 6, and let's say maybe 7 here, right? Let's make the line here. So we stopped at 5. So for 6, I would have to, for me doing 6, because 7 is above 6, when I'm adding more lines for 6, I will have to do it all the way into the box that would represent that of 7. I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense right now. So because this is 7, I will have to go more layers, right? So that is why I had to do that. So if you notice what is happening is the more you add more lines, the spaces in between, the more you cover them, the darker it becomes. So that was what I was saying in my initial introduction. So I like showing you guys these things practically, so it's not all theory and all of that. And I know myself, I can easily just go very scientific right now. So this is what I mean by the closer the lines are to themselves, the darker they appear. So this is what I mean. So just going down like this, it's hatching. Now, to make it make more sense, okay, this same thing, this is just about angles, really. This is 90 degrees and this is 90 degrees, yeah? So if you were to do the same thing, let's make it a little shorter and understand just for time sake. So you have this, you have this, you have this, you have this. It's the same thing. So we're leaving this as the plain white. So we're going this, oh boy, this, right? So we go back to this one. So this is the first layer. We're having the first layer of it. So the second layer, we'll have to go all through all of them. The second layer will go all through. This is the second layer. So on the third layer, you have to add to the third layer, the in-between. So you have to go all through. I believe you've gotten the concept now. If you haven't before now, that is. So, but that's the concept. So you now come to 4, and in between those lines, you still add more lines. It could be tricky sometimes, but yeah, patience and consistency does it for you. easy does it. So unlike this one, we had up to 7 here. We just stopped at 4 here. So the more we continue, this is just me projecting 4 forward, really not adding more things, just the 4. Now you have to add again more in between. Like I said, this thing could get really messy, but you just need to be careful and patient. Patience is the word. Patience, yeah. Patience is the word. But you get the point, really. You get the point. So now let me do something that will make you understand it a little bit better. Let me use a sphere. A sphere, right? And let's say this is the shadow casted down. Something like that. So, and this is maybe your highlight here. So using this line, you can just come up and do something like this. You're just using the vertical one now. That is how you're just going to make it just go down like that. Why I'm doing this is so you understand a sphere is some form of drawing. This pen is seasoned. I don't know why it keeps doing that. So, but let's just continue with this one. So you have this. Yeah. Now, this is me using, let's say, this to do my first layer. Now, what now happens is this is the shadow cast, so shadows, right? So I'm going to add more layers to that. I'm adding more layers to that. I'm adding more layers to that, just to make it a little darker. This is interesting. This tutorial is already getting longer than I expected it to be. So it was right that I just was talking about hatching in this one. So that's the same way I'll keep going. Until I get what I want. So I'll just keep adding the lines. If you know how this works, you would know there's cast shadow, there's reflected light, all those things. That's what I'm trying to replicate here. But just using vertical hatching lines. Now I will need to make here a little darker because that is the base of the shadow. And to give this some little sense of depth, let's just add a background to it. Yeah. So just using the vertical, that was what I used to do all of this. Now I can still add more here. just to show the reflected light of the sphere. I think in this series, I'm not thinking, in this series, I would have to be debunking a whole lot of things that I've seen online that people talk about, how that it's not okay for you to use this type of lines, it's not okay for you to use this type of line and stuff. I really don't agree with those things because everybody has their own style. And depending on your style, what you are saying people shouldn't do could be what the style of the person is. So I don't know how you're going to reconcile that. Because some of the things that they say you shouldn't do, I do them. And my work still comes out relatively okay. So let's try the horizontal here. So for the horizontal hatching, I'm going this way. I'm just going all the way. That's for the horizontal hatching. That's the one at angle 180. For those that don't know maths or hate maths, they would have no idea what I'm talking about right now. So this is me adding more lines under, more horizontal lines. And the more I add the lines, if you remember what we did here, so the more I add the lines, the more it gets, oh goodness, it's a lot of noise. A lot of people came back for Christmas, so I have a lot of activities around here. Whenever people try to enter the house, we have dogs in this compound. The dogs begin to bark, and I believe that is natural. It's not abnormal for dogs to bark, or for barking dogs to be present in a house full of dogs. But I guess you get my point. This is terrible. This is very terrible, by the way. But let me just try and make this make sense. Let me just try to salvage it. Yeah, okay. Let me do more. So if you check what I'm doing, I'm just adding more lines, really, where I want it to be darker. That's basically what I'm doing. I'm just adding more lines to the length that I need to give the tone that I want. Yeah, so I'm trying to create my core shade rather. Like that. So you can still do that with the diagonal, but I guess you've seen the point already. So this is where I'm going to stop for hatching. Then I'll go on to talk about cross hatching. And then yeah, about hatching, that reminds me, when you are drawing your lines, you could go this way, yes, and you could still go this way. But if you already are going this way, when you start this way, you have a bold start and a bold end. But when you do this, you have a bold start but not so much of a bold end. It's not confident and stuff. So when you do this, make sure you're making confident lines, right? And when you already start this way, if you do this way, it messes up what you're doing, because you now have thick lines here, and you have, unless of course it is what you want. Apart from that, stick to this. Thank you very much. Please share the videos with people that will find this very important or relevant. And yeah, like, comment, share, subscribe, all of those things. Thank you very much until I see you on the next one, which is cross hatching. That will be much more detailed. I promise. Bye.